Early in our response, with no playbook for this historic crisis, Nevada's public and private sectors mobilized to fight this deadly virus, from local government and state agencies to the Response, Relief, and Recovery Task Force, chaired by Jim Murren and made up of business leaders from across the state. Partners rolled up their sleeves and got to work. For example, the Nevada Department of Agriculture worked to make sure Nevadans didn't go hungry by providing over 16 million pounds of food across the state, serving approximately 250,000 individuals per month. Business and education leaders worked to bridge the digital divide for our students by creating Connecting Kids NV. In August, approximately 80% of Nevada's students didn't have the device or connectivity they needed to participate in distance learning. As of the start of this month, every student participating in online learning has at-home access to the internet and a computer to do their work. To keep people in their homes, millions of dollars were put into state and local rental assistance programs, and an eviction mediation program was created by Chief Justice Jim Hardesty and housing advocates. The Nevada National Guard, under the leadership of Major General Andra Berry, embarked on the largest and lengthiest state activation in Nevada history, stepping up as the heroes we all need in this moment of crisis. Labs across the state increased testing operations to record record levels, reporting over 2.3 million COVID-19 molecular tests thus far. In 2019, labs in Nevada reported a total of approximately 300,000 lab results for all diseases. The increase is staggering. But the truth still remains. While heroes like Dr. Mark Pandori, director of the Nevada State Public Health Lab located at the University of Nevada, Reno, have helped Nevada scale up our resources so we can process thousands of COVID tests a day. We, as Nevadans, are the only ones who control how many of those test results come back negative. While we are awaiting the full benefit of the vaccine, we have to be united in our statewide effort to slow and stop the spread of this virus. By wearing masks, avoiding gatherings, and protecting each other, we must remain vigilant. Our greatest challenge now is running the largest vaccination campaign in history. Despite lack of resources and coordination from the federal government, we have pushed forward, and to date we have administered over 100,000 initial and secondary doses of the vaccine. And as we wait more vaccines for the state, we are ramping up our distribution efforts. Our immunization team, the Nevada National Guard, and Division of Emergency Management are working with our local partners to get more shots in the arms of Nevadans. We are expanding our vaccination workforce to include EMS providers, medical assistants, pharmacy techs, dentists, veterinarians, and more. A vaccination mega-site at Cashman Field in Las Vegas, and we are coordinating with the private sector, including our resort properties, to have even more vaccination sites as our supply ramps up. We are working with private health providers like Renown in Washoe County to distribute vaccine to local residents who are not typically their patients. Again, let me assure all of you, every part of government is focused on vaccinating Nevadans. Anyone who tells you that COVID-19 is just a public health crisis is wrong. It's also an economic crisis and a fiscal crisis. It has impacted Nevadans' ability to feed themselves and their kids, to keep the lights on, to keep a roof over their heads, to earn a paycheck, and to keep the benefits that allow them access to health care. In our first months of the pandemic, more than 250,000 Nevadans were laid off. It was devastating. You know the truth. We're dependent on hospitality for a big part of our economy. And when travel stops, hotel rooms go empty, when showrooms close, and our convention business and tourism shuts down, it hits our state harder than any state in the nation. That makes me more determined than ever to get our world-leading hospitality industry open and our workers back on the job. But that's not enough. We need to expand our economy to other world-leading industries that can create new jobs and new opportunities for our people. And everyone needs to remember, it's not just big business that have been hit hard. Our small businesses have suffered, and they account for almost half of all the jobs in our state. I've been amazed at the grit and determination of so many small business employees and owners across Nevada as they have worked to get through this pandemic.